AITA for leaving my grandparents standing outside in the rain with their grandchild? My maternal grandparents showed up at my house with their grandchild, who is my half-sibling biologically, but I have never met the child. They have custody of her because my mother died a few months ago and her dad left the country, abandoning her. Her father was my mother's affair partner, and after years of my mother not treating me or dad right, when I learned about the affair, I went no contact with my mom at the age of 14. I did not have any contact with my mother again. The only thing I knew about her was she had another kid 3 years after she left, and she was still with her affair partner. Knowing she had another kid, who is technically my half-sibling, was not a draw to get back in contact. I didn't want contact with the child. I don't hate them. I want that to be clear. But they're not my real sibling either. My mother was not a good parent, and DNA isn't enough to draw me into a relationship with some random child. It was only after my mother left to be with her affair partner that her parents started to have random contact with me. We did not have a relationship before that point. My dad never even met them. They didn't even show an interest in us being close. They would just ask a couple of random questions every few months, often about my mother. I did not go to my mother's funeral when I heard she died, and I didn't send anything or reach out to anyone. But a month or so later, my grandparents got in touch and told me, thinking I didn't know, that my mother had another child. When I told them, I knew they were shocked, and they asked me why I had no contact with her and why I wasn't stepping up to take care of her. I'm 22 now, and she would be 5-ish, I think. I told them I had no relationship with the kid and did not want to be her savior and did not want to raise her. They were horrified and tried to guilt-trip me for my lack of rushing to rescue this child. In the end, I blocked them because they would not shut up about it. Which leads to the incident I'm asking about. They showed up to my house last week with the child and tried to get in. I unblocked them long enough to call and say I would not let them in when I realized they would stand out there all day. They argued with me and said I needed to let them in, and my half-sister deserved to meet me, and we needed to figure out a way for us to know each other. I refused, and I left them out in the rain and did not open my door. They left after such a long time. It was crazy, but then my grandfather showed up the next day and yelled at me as I was leaving for work that I left them and a small child out in the rain out of some pettiness and that I should be ashamed of my treatment of her. ATA,